Hi there, I'm Rex King. Welcome back to another episode of From the Archive. Today we're talking about Going in Style. So, Going in Style is actually a remake of the 1979 movie of the same name. This film was directed by Zach Braff and was written by Fyodor Melfi. And it was released back on April 17th, 2017, had a budget of about $25 million. It made about $84.9 million, being a huge success at the box office. However, critics felt the film was mid at best. They didn't think that it lived up to what the original did, and modernizing the story didn't work as well as it could have. What do I think? Well, let's talk about it. So, Going in Style follows these three old guys played by Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman, and Alan Arkin. Uh, all of them are former steel workers in Brooklyn who get the news that their company is not going to be honoring their pension funds that they have been relying on for funds. This causes huge financial strife amongst the three. Michael Caine's character is getting evicted from his house. Morgan Freeman's character needs a kidney transplant, and Alan Arkin's character is relying on music lessons just to get by. However, one day after Michael Caine witnesses a robbery, he decides that they, as a group, should rob a bank in the hopes of basically getting enough money to survive. The other two are first reluctant, but then buy into the plan of what do we have to lose? And they work together to pull off a bank heist. So, right away, I'm going to get this out of the way. I have never seen the 1979 original. When I decided to review this movie, I didn't even know this film was a remake. So I'm not going to compare the two films because I can't compare this movie to a movie I haven't seen before. That being said, this film is your standard heist comedy. You have your three unlikely bank robbers working together to try to pull off a successful bank robbery. It follows all the standard beats, and as such, you can kind of predict where the film is going to go. There are some times where the film is trying to have a social commentary conversation about how banks can just kind of screw people over without really any repercussions. But to be honest, that's not the main focus of the film. The main focus of the film is these three guys trying to figure out how to get away with this heist. And honestly, I don't really find a problem with that. I found this film to be kind of enjoyable. Yeah, it's nothing new or nothing different, but it's fun. It has a couple funny moments in it. There aren't any moments that made me just drop out of my seat laughing or gave me a full belly laugh, but there's a decent amount of chuckles in the film. I honestly felt it was pretty good. There is some weird decisions as far as like characters in the film. For instance, Michael Caine's character has this son-in-law who they initially go to get contacts for like criminal contacts because his son-in-law is a weed dealer, and apparently that means he knows bank robbers. I'm not sure how the film makes that leap in logic, but sure, whatever. Um, but he's supposed to be a deadbeat, is what the film initially tells us. That he's like not paying for his daughter's child support. He really isn't a character we're supposed to like. Literally, like 3 or 4 scenes later, he's all of a sudden at Michael Caine's house serving his daughter food and is trying to be a good dad for reasons. Yeah, he's just kind of there, and I'm not really sure why he makes a character motivation change when we don't get to really get to know his character all that well. And it's treated like a huge change for the character. It's like, well, we don't understand what he's going through, what he made him decide to do this all of a sudden. I wish we had more moments to explain that, but the film's only about 90 minutes long, so certain moments like that just kind of get rushed through. And there are a lot of like side characters that don't get really any development or explanation. Our main characters aren't really developed either, and that's probably because you don't really need to do a whole lot with these characters because they're played by three legendary actors. You're just gonna put these three legendary actors on screen and let them do their shtick. And their shtick is entertaining. I mean, Morgan Freeman is the old, likable guy. Michael Caine's the blue collar worker who's a little bit dangerous, like he's playing in every other film he's ever played in. And Alan Arkin is the sarcastic one who doesn't really see the point in trying to pull this all off. But he still wants to help his friends. Like, these are the characters that we've seen these three actors play in film after film, and they're successful at doing it. And their performance is a huge part of the reason to watch this film. They're not the only performers who do a great job here. I mean, you got Christopher Lloyd, Keegan-Michael Kell, who are in this film. Just to name two actors who do a fantastic job. Keegan-Michael Kell plays this grocery store manager who catches the three shoplifting and gives them a weird speech that just is hilarious. And Christopher Lloyd plays this older gentleman who is just gone completely senile and completely off the rails, and only Christopher Lloyd can pull off a performance like that, and it's just hilarious. And yeah, the performances are the main reason to watch this film. The visuals are nothing to talk about, really. It's your standard heist film as far as visuals are concerned. There's nothing new here. They tried to utilize split screen like crazy in the film, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But since you've seen it in other heist films, you kind of expect it in a film like this as well. The music, well, the composer for this film was Robert Simonson. I apologize if I mispronounced the name, and it's fine, but again, it's just your standard heist film stuff. So, I mean, if you've heard any heist film soundtrack, you've heard this soundtrack too. They've also used a bunch of old-timey songs to try to increase the film's atmosphere, but it doesn't always work, and sometimes it feels like they're just trying to just riff off all their more successful heist films. At the end of the day, Going in Style is fine. There's nothing new here, but there really didn't need to be anything new here. It just needed to be fun with enjoyable characters and decent performances, and I do believe it meets that criteria. Yes, I would have loved to see something different out of these three performers, but what we got is still enjoyable. Now, as far as the Blu-ray is concerned, there's only a director's commentary and deleted scenes, so there's no real reason to track this one down. I honestly think your best bet is to stick to streaming with this one. I do recommend watching it. It's definitely a fun time, and it's a very short film. So, yeah, if you have like an hour and a half, sit down and give it a watch. I think you'll relatively find enjoyment with this one. Anyway, that's my opinion on Going in Style. What did you think about it if you've seen it? Let me know in the comments below. And next week, I'll be taking a look at Blackjack the movie. See you then.